सर आप मुझे देख पा रहे हैं?
यस।
जी।
Yeah, today final. Yes, have you prepared all?
ये सर मैंने सब रिवाइज कर रहा हूँ, अभी चल रहा है अभी रिविजन।
वो आज क्या किया है बताओ।
आज वो जो चारों चैप्टर है वो थोड़ा थोड़ा करके रिवीजन किया हूँ। आप आज पूरे टॉपिक से ही थोड़ा थोड़ा करके पूछ लीजिए। मैं पहले एक फुल मॉक देना चाहता हूँ, देखना चाहता हूँ कि कैसे बोल पा रहा हूँ कि नहीं, और कल से 2 मॉक दूंगा।
Yes, let me start. Basic introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Shubhadeep Sarkar. I am 23 years old. I live in Murshidabad, district Murshidabad in West Bengal. I have done my schooling in Berhampur Jain Academy, and I have done my bachelor's degree in chemistry and master's in chemistry in Ramakrishna Mission Residential College, which is affiliated to Calcutta University. Currently, I have got a project experience of 5 months, and my strengths are I am hardworking and quick learner, and want to pursue research as my career. And my hobbies are related to physical fitness and playing cricket. So this is about me. Thank you.
Yes, good. Your name is Supradeep Sarkar. Yes. What the meaning of your name? Explain briefly.
Sir, my name Supradeep means light. So lightning is a significant meaning of my name, and this is quite easy name for sure.
Yes, what's your strength and weakness? 5 strength and weakness.
Sir, my strength will be I'm a quick learner, and I am curious. I am curious about how a process is going on, and in case of chemistry, I always curious about how a reaction proceeds and how can you make the condition to make a reaction more feasible, or getting more yield in a reaction is my primary target. So observation of a reaction is a kind of curious thing, kind of brings some curiosity in me. So these are the strength of mine, and my weakness will be when I am completely engrossed with something, then I forget to do other work. So this will be my weakness.
Yes, good. Your hobby is playing cricket. Yes. Explain about
Yes.
hobbies. How to describe your hobby in a day. How to use it in a day, week, month.
Sir,
Your hobby.
my hobby is playing cricket, and it is from my childhood. I always try to play something, but cricket got the most interest in me. And from the childhood, I always try to play cricket, and I have played cricket for my college and university also. And still now, when I get some leisure time, I always try to check out some bat and ball and try to go to the playground and play some cricket. And according to our nation, that India is a uh, very high ranked country in cricket in the world. So the player Tendulkar and Virat Kohli are my idol in playing cricket. So this is how I am completely connected with cricket in my life.
Yes, your native place is Murshidabad, West Bengal. Here,
Yes,
describe
yes,
your
sir.
native place. How do you feel about your native place?
Murshidabad is a very historical site in our state, because Murshidabad Zilla is very important in our history, as the War of Plassey has taken place in Murshidabad between Nawab Sirajuddaulah and East India Company, and also there are some many big statues and big castles are there, like Hazarduari and Imambada. This type of castles are present in Lalbagh of Murshidabad, which are quite historic castles, and uh, this was belongs to the uh, zamindars and the nawabs of historic times. So the place around me, or the place I belong, is quite a has quite a historic importance in Indian history.
What's your favorite place in your district and state?
Sir, I live in Berhampur, which is half an hour far away from Lalbagh. The Lalbagh place is a very lovable place and my favorite place also, because I love to roam Lalbagh, because in this Lalbagh we can see many ancient and old vintage thing, which brings uh, which brings curiosity, and I always wanted to know what happened in the previous years, or the time when East India Company it was in the India, how their colonization works. So we can surely see the colonization, and there is a very very vibrant history we can see from Lalbagh. So this is why Lalbagh is a very favorite place of mine.
Yes, good. Next, move on laboratory. Yes. What the main application of laboratory?
Sir, in case of chemistry or such subjects like physics, mathematics, chemistry, and also biology, laboratory is a very important thing in case of study. To study a subject to a higher level and go to the level of invention, you need a laboratory. Laboratory is based on the research work, and research work are mostly very meticulously observation of any topic in a particular subject. So laboratory gives us the opportunity to break down things more and to get the deeper study of any important and non-important every topic of our scientific world. So laboratory, without laboratory we cannot grow ourselves, because laboratory are very useful to do the research, and also it is very helpful to make medicines in our current world, which is very pivotal in our life to save lives and to cure many diseases.
Yes. Yes. How to detect elemental analysis in a lab? Nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, chlorine.
Sir, in case of the analysis of this type of radicals, we can use some reactions, or particular there are some reactions to find this radical. So after using unknown organic sample or unknown sample, by adding some particular reagent, we can distinguish the we can distinguish this type of radicals in a lab.
Yes. What is functional group? How to detect functional group in a lab? Aldehyde, ketone.
Okay, sir.
Acid.
In case of if we say about alcohol, then we can make some test which is called Lucas test, Victor Meyer test, etc. So what happens in case of Lucas test? We use HCl plus ZnCl2, which produces RCl plus ZnOH whole 2. So in case of the determination of an alcohol, when the alkyl group is 1 degree, then the precipitation or the reaction doesn't react fastly, does not react fast. When it is 2 degree, a turbidity is shown in a minute, in a minute. But when we use 3 degree alcohol, then instant precipitation occurs. Instant precipitation occurs. So this is how we can test the functional group of a molecule. Here in this case, we are particularly determining about an alcohol which are 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree. If we take any alcohol and place in HCl plus ZnCl2 and done the Lucas test on that unknown sample, if we get our positive reaction, we can predict it as our alcohol in by the Victor Meyer test or Lucas test.
Yes, any drawback and limitation of laboratory in elemental analysis and functional group detection?
Sir, in case of limitation, for a laboratory purpose, laboratory holds many type of chemical hazardous product which are basically waste. So in doing the research in laboratory, we produce many unwanted and undesirable product which are not needed in our research study. So then we produce and then we get the unwanted waste and dump this waste to the nature. So this is the fundamental problem from laboratory in today, causes the environmental pollution by those chemical hazardous waste in dumping in the nature. So this will be a limitation for laboratory.
Yes, good. Next, move on your MSc project. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, what the main
Sir,
application? Yes, what the main application and uses in your project?
okay, sir, my MSc project is based on the synthesis of aminocyclopentanol from D-glucose and the structure of aminocyclopentanol is like this. We are producing the aminocyclopentanol from D-glucose, where so from D-glucose I produce this compound, which is isoxazoline ring protected aminocyclopentanol, and from this compound we can produce the ultimate final compound, which is looking like this. And this final compound is basically the anti-diabetic drug. So in my M.Sc project, I produced D-glucose to isoxazoline ring protected aminocyclopentanol in 9 steps. And in these 9 steps, we produce this protected form, because the final form, which is the actual medicine, it is not quite stable. So we have to protect the compound, and to protect the compound, I produce this ring protected form of this, because it has a primary amine group, and for the primary amine group, the compound is destabilized. So I produce the glucose to this compound, and the application of my project will be, already a compound is present which is similarly looking like this, looking like my compound. So the compound previously looking like this compound has a high biological activity in case of decreasing diabetes. So we are also trying to find how much activity does this compound contain to decrease the diabetes. So we are assuming this compound will be same anti-diabetic, but we don't know the actual amount, how much it can reduce diabetes or not.
Yes. Any drawback limitation in your topic?
Sir, in case of my compound, there is a drawback of this compound is not stable. This is very highly unstable. So we have to make a protected form of this compound, and the protected form of this compound is not useful compound. So you always have to do the ultimate reaction to get the final product and to use it for further study. So this is the limitation for our project and the compound we made through our project.
Yes, next go on in BRC topic. Yes, how do you feel about BRC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center?
Sir, Bhabha Atomic Research Center is quite a huge government sector where research work is done under government fund, and the topic of their research is related to nuclear chemistry. And from class 10th or from the secondary level, we are knowing some droplets of knowledge about nuclear chemistry. And from class 10, class 12, BSc, MSc, we are seeing many things related to nuclear chemistry. And the nuclear chemistry shows us about nuclear reaction, nuclear emission, and all those things which further make some chain reactions and which are very important as an energy source. So this is very important. This has very important role in our society as to make an energy source from elements. So this is why work is very important, and I want to join, or I want to see the challenge of the work it has done in BARC. So this is why I and trying to see myself as that I can, if I have a potential to be here or not, and to get the environment from this, I can better myself. This is why I am here.
Yes, good. Why will you become a scientific assistant in BRC? What the role of scientific assistant in BRC? Explain briefly.
Sir, I don't know much about the scientific assistant in BRC, the role of scientific assistant here, but I know that the role related to the laboratory of scientific assistant, he works in a laboratory of BRC, and he does the work as an R&D in R&D section. And I have also worked in my project in a lab where I am completely involved with the synthesis of a material, which is quite challenging, as organic synthesis are very tough, because the preparation and the purification are very costly and very time consuming. So the similarity of this type of work I can see here, and this is why I want to pursue myself, to challenge myself, and to see the work, how am I gonna do.
Yes. What is scientist? What the major responsibility of scientists in our country? Explain.
So scientists have a pivotal role in our country, because scientists are the more of a not more of a scientist, but more of a philosopher. Their perspective of thinking and their direction of their thinking creates many discoveries. The discoveries and inventions makes our life better, and the progression of a mankind is completely dependent on the idea. The ideas produced from a philosopher or a scientist are very important and useful in our daily lives, to make our lives easier and to do many work in a very less less way, or basically our life is getting very easier by the many invention which are done by the scientists. And the scientists are in health, are in research, there are some engineers who are always are the backbone of our society, to make our society better. So this is why scientists role are very important in our life.
Yes, good. Yeah, next move on your chemistry topics. First of all, basic is coordination. Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
What the main application of coordination?
Sir, in coordination, we can see some complex, and which we call as coordination complex. These complex are used in many research and study of many reactions are done by this type of complex, and these complex are used in medicine. Like we have seen that cisplatin is a coordination compound which is used in case of curing cancer. So there are many compounds which are used as a catalyst in a reaction, which are coordination compound, and this type of compounds are useful for catalyzing a reaction and to try to get a desirable product. whichever study we are doing in a lab. So cisplatin is looking like this. So this is cisplatin, and this compound is used as a cure for cancer or treatment of cancer.
Yes, good. What the main purpose of coordination in inorganic and chemistry?
Sir, coordination takes us a huge part of inorganic chemistry, because in itself coordination has multiple theories and multiple pathways we can see, and there are some many topics which are covered in coordination chemistry, which itself covers half of the inorganic chemistry in our today's life. So this is why coordination chemistry is very important, as it contains bonding, electronic configuration, and how stability works in a complex. And there are some aspects which are called lability, reactivity. These all types of things can be studied from coordination chemistry. So this is why coordination chemistry is very important in inorganic chemistry.
Yes, how will you determine splitting energy experimentally and theoretical? What is
Sir,
splitting energy? First of all, what is splitting energy? What is CFSE?
okay, so according to CFT theory, or that means according to crystal field theory, CFT, we have seen that a d orbital which has 5 orbitals, uh, after interaction with the ligand, it will get some ground state to excited state, GS to excited state, due to the spherical symmetry. It will further splits to doubly degenerate orbital and triply degenerate orbital. So the doubly degenerate orbital is EG, and the triply degenerate orbital is called T2G. So the gap between these two orbital is called as del O for octahedral complex. So the gap between these two orbitals are called del O, and the del O is called as CFSE, which is crystal field stabilizing energy, or we call it as the splitting energy of a molecule. So this is basically now see how can you determine the value of splitting energy or CFSE for a molecule. First, we are seeing the theoretical aspect.
Yes.
So if we take a D5 molecule, no, not D5, D5 with 0 आ जाएगा. So if we take a molecule which is D6, so for a D6 molecule, we will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 4 electron in T2G orbital and 2 electron in EG orbital. So we know that the splitting between these 2 orbital creates the energy difference, which is minus 0.4 delo, and the upper part is 0.6 delo. So now if we calculate the CFAC for D6 compound, here we have taken D6 high spin compound, and now there are 4 electron in T2G. So you will multiply minus 0.4 delo into 4 plus 0.6 delo into 2. So this will be 1.6 delo plus 1.2 delo, and now the final stabilization energy or splitting energy will be minus 0.4 delo. So this is the value we can get of a splitting energy theoretical aspect. This is theoretical value. So now we will see the actual value, which can be determined from the experimental aspect. So if we take a solution or a compound, coordination compound, then it will be colored, and colored compound, for the colored compound, firstly we will see the UV visible spectra. UV visible spectroscopy was done for the colored compound. So UV visible spectroscopy was done, and from the UV visible spectroscopy we get that the absorbance of the complex is highest at wavelength lambda max. So if we take the wavelength as lambda max, now we know that E equals to h nu, which is further E equals to hc by lambda, and we know the stabilization splitting energy or CFAC is also the energy, and we can relate that from here and plot the value according to this equation. E equals to h nu. T equals to h nu equals to delta, and now delta equals to hc by lambda, and we know that hc by lambda here is lambda max. So putting the value of lambda max, now we can get the experimental value of splitting energy in a coordination complex. This is how we can get the splitting energy by experiment. So this is the compound. It has some color, let's say red color. UV spectra was done, then absorbance is recorded. Absorbance was at lambda max, and now putting the equation E equals to h nu, then delta equals to hc by lambda, and we have said that the absorbance is highest at lambda max, so hc by lambda max. So this is how you can calculate the value of CFAC.
Yes, good. Next is why D5 from octahedral complex or tetrahedral complex is value is 0, CFAC value is 0. Why? What the reason?
So in case of D5, if the complex is high spin, then we can find the CFAC, and the CFAC is basically minus 0.4 into 3 plus 2 into 0.6 del O. So this is actually getting the zero value. So this is why for octahedral D5 high spin complex, the CFSE is 0, and also for D5 tetrahedral complex, and tetrahedral complex are more likely always high spin, then the splitting is looking like T2 and E. In this case T2G and EG, and here T2 and E. So here the CFSE is 0.4 into 3 plus 2 into minus 0.6 del T. So ultimate value by calculating is also getting 0. So this is why D5 tetrahedral complex and D5 high spin octahedral complex has crystal field splitting energy is 0.
CFSE value is positive, negative. Why?
Sir, by the calculation we can predict the value of CFSE or splitting energy. When the value is negative, then we are calling it as negative del O, and when we get positive value, then we also say positive value. So in this case of D5 octahedral and D5 tetrahedral, the value of CFSE here is not positive, not negative, it is 0.
CFSE value is a positive, negative. Suppose D1 system. What the value
For
of
D1
CFSE?
system. Okay, so for D1 system, sir, the value of CFSE will be very negative because the value will be 0.4 into 1 del O minus 0.4 del O. This will be negative value for D1.
Yes, negative 0.4. So CFSE
Yes, sir.
value is negative and positive.
Generally, we are seeing that CFSE are negative, but in some cases we can get positive values also.
यस गुड। अब आपका मौका टाइम है तो इसको 10 मिनट गैप के बाद आप रिज्वाइन कर लेना। वैसे ठीक है आपका परफॉर्मेंस, तो हम उसके आगे और डिस्कस करेंगे। यस
हाँ हाँ, तो चैप्टर से।
यस, अभी और भी हैं। अभी तो ये कोऑर्डिनेशन स्टार्टिंग किया है, बेसिक कुछ क्वेश्चन आएंगे कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए। ठीक है,
ओके।